All right, so you survived the Bachelorette. I mean, was it everything that you thought it was going to be? Going in, what did you think? How did you think the experience was going to be?
You know, I am not a Bachelor Nation, sort of expert. So I kind of went in with little expectations other than, getting out of the apartment in Manhattan and getting to, meet Claire. That was all I knew going into it. I watched a couple of episodes, a couple of seasons right before going out there very quickly to sort of understand everything. But went in with open eyes, open hearts, and was just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah. And, prior to that, I mean, what had you been doing? How did you actually get on the show?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm a wealth management consultant. That's what the title was in the show. But I am ultimately an executive recruiter. We do a little bit of M&A, a little bit of fundraising, a little bit of management consulting for wealth and asset managers. I work with hedge funds, private equity firms, and RIAs, family offices, and large bulge bracket banks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that for, oh gosh, coming up on 10 years. Really enjoy what I do, but I was at this point in the year where I'd had some success, had some clients very, very well positioned, and realized that, kind of given the pandemic and everything, that, I likely wasn't going to be traveling and getting in front of new clients and bringing in new business this year. So I was kind of looking at being, there in Manhattan for, the summer and just, kind of trying to figure something out. How can I do something different? Maybe open up a few doors, maybe help create a side hustle, and hopefully, throw myself out there and open up some doors to meet, the love of my life.
So wait, so did you look at The Bachelorette as like a way to get exposure, or did you look at it as I want to find a partner and I'm looking for someone to love?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? I think I was well aware of other doors and avenues that it might open, but number one, of course, was to find love. I'm a bachelor at 36. I'm dying to have a family. That's the biggest thing for me. At this point in my career and life, I've been very, very close to finding that person, and it just wasn't the right fit, wasn't the one. And so, yeah, of course. I mean, I didn't say that a second earlier, but the dating life, to say the least, had grown to be quite stagnant there.
Oh
In New
yeah,
York
well
in the
dating
middle of
life,
the
listen,
pandemic.
with or
So
without a pandemic, it's tough in New York.
fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, you know that you know how it goes.
100%.
It's a different dating world, that's for sure.
Yeah. And you didn't find luck before. Why, you're 36, still a bachelor. Why hasn't it worked out for you, would you say?
I think it's just like with anything. I'm a relationship guy. I've had a 3.5 year relationship. I've had a 6.5 year relationship. I've had a 5 year relationship. So, for me, I think it's, not that I'm afraid to commit, that's for sure. And I was even engaged at one point. And it just didn't seem right. It didn't fit. I think we sort of approached the world differently. We communicated differently, and it's something that I don't want to mess up. My brother's had several marriages and several divorces, so for me, being sort of following his footsteps, I want to make sure that I get that right. And so it's a lifelong commitment, it's a partnership, and I'm really looking for that person to be the mother of our children. So that's super important to me.
So, okay, you're one of those few men in Bachelor Nation who can say that they got to know two bachelorettes in one season, which is crazy. This is a crazy season for everybody. So tell me what kind of differences you notice between, Tayshia and Claire.
Sure. So, I think with Claire, it was so polarizing, from the jump, from the get-go with Claire. She was totally into Dale, and
Didn't really get
as much
bothered
as
to
we
get to know
all,
anybody else.
yeah, it was tough, right? And I think, as much as we all wanted to, work our way in there and try to get a chance with her, it just really wasn't happening. She knew what she wanted right out of the gates. And, in contrast to that, Tasha was in it for everyone, and she was there to give it the process and just the kind of journey there on the Bachelorette, the full attention that we had not felt that we had received there from Claire. So it was a totally different experience, and she
Yeah.
was open in meeting all of us and giving us each the chance to put our best foot forward. So that's all you can really ask, and it's a super hyper competitive environment where you kind of sometimes get a couple of minutes here and there, and you got to make the most of it.
Well, you definitely made the most out of your minutes. I mean, there was the roast. I feel like you were not afraid to speak your mind, which is why I think you became one of the standout contestants. Have you always been like that? Are you like this in life, or did something trigger you?
I think you also have to take into account, right, as a 36-year-old guy, coming into that situation, you're kind of over impressing people, and I think about that on first dates, and so much in my younger dating career, it was about taking a girl out and really impressing her. And I think it's more about, showing your true colors and showing, who you are. Hopefully there's a good fit there. Hopefully you're going about that in a thoughtful way and not being offensive on a first date or anything. But of course, I wanted to be myself, put my true colors out there and see what sticks. I think, dating is a two-way street. So, take it or leave it. I think it's in everyone's best interest to be who they truly are.
Is there anything that you regret about the season?
Not really, to be honest. I think looking back to what led to, sort of my departure in the 2-on-1 with Noah.
Yeah.
I would not have, personally done anything differently. I think, the one thing that I think about as I'm looking back now, I think perhaps a thesis on emotional intelligence with the point-by-point comparison of the 4 competencies and how I acted versus how someone else acted is simply too much for reality TV to handle. And so that was a lesson learned. And it's very easy to spin that and say, Bennett is a condescending prick, versus Bennett is actually 11 years older than this guy and had seen behaviors that perhaps he felt very confident in being able to say this without trying to, talk down. It was simply, I had seen things that I knew Tayshia hadn't. And so I don't really, fault myself for that at all, because I knew it was coming from a good place and it was genuine and heartfelt. And I think it was, perhaps just a little bit too much. Like I said, those minutes really, really matter, and a little bit too much maybe for the snippets you get there in reality TV. That's it.
Sure. Now, listen, I mean, because I followed the season, I followed the Twitter, Twitterati.
Nice.
And they were coming for you at some points. They were saying, listen, this guy, he makes it known every single episode that he went to Harvard. He flaunts this certain kind of lifestyle. This guy's arrogant. What do you say to those haters out there?
Well, I think you have to kind of take into account that that is a very, high level, easy categorization of myself, right? The fact that I went to Harvard is not something that I go around talking about. It came out that way perhaps on television because we were creating a television show. And
do you think there was some editing involved there, like some creative, editing behind?
I'm not saying anything about, the editing or the production. I'm unable to do that. I don't think it was anything, like that. But, I'm certainly not walking into any room anywhere, saying, hi, I'm Bennett. I went to Harvard ever in my life. That would never come out of my mouth. I'm never wearing Harvard gear. If I am, it's almost, slightly ironic that I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Like I have a flat brim Harvard track and field hat that's, like an old school vintage 90s hat. That would be the type of thing I might wear. I'm certainly not the guy that's rooting and tooting for Harvard, left and right. And I think it's just, like I said, similarly with the, 2-on-1 and everything, I think, again, like you brought up, I'm a 36-year-old, grown man, and I'm happy to talk about my alma mater when I'm asked, but it's certainly, not something that I'm, out there proclaiming and shouting from the mountaintops or anything like that.
I mean, you were a fan favorite with people, and a lot of fans were wondering when they're going to see you again. So have you gotten the more calls? What kind of opportunities have opened up for you since you were on the show?
Yeah, we have a pretty tight contract, right, with ABC, and it's I think there's been some calls for a continuation on Bachelor in Paradise, and I think that process really picks up more in February and March. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about that just yet. For me, I think it's flattering and it's a nice opportunity. I just don't know how I personally feel about kind of going and spending, a month on the beach, and just sort of rapid fire dating a bunch of people in a scenario like that. I am, more than anything focused on finding, the partner for myself for the rest of my life. And I just don't know if that positions me in the best place to be doing that. I've had another, show approach me, and it's not, worth mentioning, on the air here.
Right.
And I've had some marketing opportunities and, modeling opportunities and such, come my way. I'm open to everything. We can't really, start doing any of that until, several months from now. But, it's flattering and it's cool and it's exciting. It's new for me.
Now, you told Tayshia that you loved her. How does it make you feel to see her with Zach?
Yeah, that was several months ago. And I think once I got shut down repeatedly from Tayshia, you have to take that and accept it and, move on. For me, I knew that there was a lot of, upstanding gentlemen there that were, still courting her. Seeing her and Zach end up together actually really, really made me very, very happy. I think Zach is the man. I think he's a super upstanding guy, smart, thoughtful, charismatic, has a great heart on him. And so I was actually very surprised to see it, and I was very happy for them. So I wish them the best. Hope to see them both, in New York or whenever our paths cross again, and congratulate them properly.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, it sounds like you're in the right place. I mean, has anybody helped you get over Tayshia?
Ha, that is a good question, Jen. Jeez Louise. Put me on the spot here.
Are you sweating?
I do run hot generally, but
Right.
no, I don't have anyone special, at the moment. I perhaps had a fling or two to help get over her, but
Okay.
there's been nothing serious,
Yeah. Now, there were rumors. There's people on the streets. They're talking about you and Andi Dorfman. And you know this. You know this. Don't play coy with me. So there were pictures, I guess, about a vacation. So tell me what really happened there.
I wish, to be honest, I wish there was, some traction with Andi. She's a fellow Atlantan, and she actually is from the town in Atlanta where my high school is. So I think there's a lot of, overlap there, but we've never gone out. That was just sort of, rumors. I think, Caitlin Bristow asked me on a podcast if I had my eye on anyone in Bachelor Nation. I said I'd love to take out Andi and would be super flattered to go out with her. But we've not crossed paths yet. And I think the distance from LA to New York makes it slightly more challenging, but hopefully we can figure it out if Andi is indeed still single.
What's 2,000 miles? It's fine. Have you guys been in contact at all, like over DM or anything like that?
No. I shot her a DM not too long after I got out of the situation there with the Bachelorette, and I never heard back from her. So I just let that one go.
Andi,
I actually,
you listening?
Yeah, wake up, Andi.
Yeah.
But no, I actually didn't see that it had been seen yet. So I'm still kind of, hanging out there in purgatory.
Yeah. This has been tough. I mean, it's tough to date right now, for sure, during a pandemic. Listen, you're like an elegant guy. You like the finer things in life. You pay attention.
Sure. Definitely.
So what would your advice be to a guy who wants to make a good impression and is taking a girl out for the first time?
Yeah, sure. Like I said earlier, I would, definitely be myself. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to put your best foot forward. Go somewhere, do something creative, just kind of a standard, drinks or, I know that's just so typical, but even if it's going on a walk, I think the pandemic has made people get a little bit more creative with their dating because of social distancing and how do you even begin. Usually you have to start outside. The winter is coming. It's going to be even tougher. But, I think do something that's low key, wear something that's comfortable, that you're, not putting on a show, putting on a mask or anything, and just be yourself. I think above all else, that's sort of number one.
Yeah, and don't walk in wearing a terry cloth robe. Just don't do it. It's not
Yeah. Not on the first date. I don't think that's the best move. At least wait till 3 or 4 for the robe.
Yeah. Now we're extra, so we got to ask you, have any celebrities reached out to you? Have any celebrities slid into those DMs, Bennett?
Um, I'm going to keep them anonymous, but there's been a couple of other reality show contestants and such who've reached out. Um, I would say there's no major A-lister who I've been in touch with though.
Okay. Yet. All right, Bennett.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course, Jen. Thank you so much for taking the time. It was a pleasure to be here, and hope to cross paths with you at some point whenever you're on the East Coast.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. Take care. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you want more extra, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll never miss a video.